GM. Welcome to the Web3 Writers by Vagobond Media. We are here today to do karate. No, we're not here to do karate. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk about Web3 and writing and the place where Web3 and writing meet. I'm going to invite Riona Morgan up to speak as co-host. And I want to say hi to Jose and hi to Crypto Jesus. Glad you guys made it. We're happy to have you guys on the stage if you want to come up too, because this is always a conversation. And just to reiterate, I'm CD Demisio, and this is the Web3 Writers, hosted by Vagobond Media. Riona, how are you?
Hello, I am so good. I'm so good. And I see a most amazing friend in the audience, Crypto Jesus. Hello. Yay.
We
Well,
love Crypto Jesus too.
I do love Crypto Jesus too. I actually met Crypto Jesus. We've been friends a long time. And when we first got to NFT NYC years ago, not this year, but last year, we were in an elevator and he looks over and he goes, Rihanna? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm Crypto Jesus. And we were like, yay. And so I hugged a stranger, but not stranger, in an elevator at NFT NYC where you and I spoke, CD.
That's funny. Crypto Jesus and I have known each other through a variety of different NFT projects through the years. And even though I was there, I don't think we actually met. Did we meet? I don't remember.
No, I don't think we've ever seen each other in person.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's been probably 3 years now.
One of my old friends in NFT land. How strange is that? And yet we've never met in person. We will, I'm sure, at some point. How's things
Yeah,
going for you?
it's always the same. Everyone on here you already know each other. The second you link up in person, it's like nothing's changed.
That has always been one of the things that I love the most about the NFT space and the Web3 space in general. So hey, you've got a few things in the work, Crypto Jesus. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but what are you working on? What's going on with you?
So, still working full time on Solon, and Ben and I have kind of battened down the hatches, so to speak. So we've been more focused on just getting out a single application on iOS for now, just to ship something. So we're mainly working on that, and it's never a dull day.
Solon, I mean, I've minted at the mint, but can you tell people that aren't familiar with it a little bit about it and about what you guys are doing and what your plans are? I know they've changed a little bit through the years, but I love the fact that you guys are still working on it, still moving forward, and still putting in the sweat that needs to happen.
Yeah, Ben and I still do this full time. We've done it full time. The first year we went full time, I want to say like 6 months in, and we've been full time ever since. And what we do at Solon is we decentralize front ends. And what that really means is if you look at the web today, every single front end, whether you're talking about Web 2 or Web 3, is hosted on a centralized server, whether it's AWS, Google Cloud, or just some local server. And the issue with that is it creates this interesting situation where Web3 users, especially, are getting the worst of both worlds. People today, the reality is they aren't able to see any of the value propositions of Web3 because they're interfacing with a decentralized backend through a centralized front end. And because of that, you still have all the downsides of centralization on the front end, which is, consumers can still be censored. The front end can be manipulated. It could be replaced with a visually identical one that's malicious. Any number of things can happen. We've seen it happen in this space time and time again. And the reality is, when you hear about this space in the news, if anything, it often seems, less trustless and less permissionless than the real world does because of all these incidents that are going on. The reality is that's just because we've built a lot of really great decentralized backend technologies like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and IPFS, but we haven't built anything to decentralize front ends. And we're hoping that Solon will be the piece of that puzzle that allows not only applications to be fully decentralized for the first time, but creates a unified layer for the web, for the modern web, that people can get around.
Thanks. I really appreciate you sharing that, and also I appreciate the work that you and Ben are doing. I mean, have since the beginning, and it's so cool to still be a part of the project. You know, even though I haven't really been participating much, I find it so hard to engage in anything at this point. But it's cool to still be a part of it and to be able to drop in there once in a while and be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" and kind of still get an answer, which is so rare in so many other projects. So I'm really
Yeah,
happy that you're
no,
here.
I really appreciate that, Vagabond. I mean, to be honest with you, the whole thing sucks, right? Like all of us, we're probably in like 100 different communities by now. You know, we were all big on the NFT space, and because of that, a lot of us got exposed in a lot of different pockets. And the main space to do it was on Discord and maybe a little bit on Telegram. But you know, when you have 200 Discord servers going on at once, it's impossible to keep up. And two, you know, we need a better way to keep in touch with consumers that actually genuinely care. And the reality is, no one cares until you have a product out. So that's why we're just, you know, we're kind of just heads down on getting done, getting something out there. So hopefully we can, you know, reconsolidate and huddle the community around that product and build from that base.
Awesome. Shout out to you guys for being among the builders that continue on. And while I'm at it, I might as well shout out a couple other projects that continue to build. There was recent news from Pixel Vault, which I'd kind of almost given up on, and Pixel Vault has partnered with Yuga Labs, and so they are doing some stuff with their GG token and Good Game, and you know the protocol that they've built is going to be part of ApeCoin and all that. So I love that both of those projects are still going forward. Uh, Also, really enjoying some of the games that exist out there, like Ethereum. What is it? ETH Influence, which is the asteroids game, is still going. They're still building strong. Uh, Lamina One is like going, and you know delays happening, but still doing some amazing things and a lot of fun community going on there. Cryptoversal and I have both really enmeshed ourselves in that community, and it's a lot of fun to be there. Cyber Brokers has a pretty awesome game that they continue to build. On Chain Monkeys is still, you know, even with a little bit of lack of energy of what's happened, they're still doing stuff, still moving forward. And, you know, then there's projects like Gutter Cat Gang, which Gutter Cat Gang has apparently conversations going on about their gang token, which a couple of platforms, and they're going to do some fun stuff. And these are all awesome projects that have just kept building and kept giving, even in this like very difficult market where it's really hard. And of course, the thing that brought a lot of us as writers and creatives into the NFT and web space was this IP idea, this idea of like being able to write and share and collaborate and create within a specific IP niche. Now, Riona Morgan, I want to ask you. I saw recently there was some stuff happening with Cool Cats. And disclaimer: Riona's not a part of the Cool Cats team or anything. We're both holders of Cool Cats, but she does pay a little bit more attention to stuff like that than I do. And I wonder if you can, if you know, actually, what has been happening with Cool Cats.
You know, I'm not 100% certain. I took a week off. I took last week off just to go to the Oregon coast and look at the ocean. And so I this is my first day back, and you guys are the first people I've spoken with. And so, you know, I don't know 100% about what's going on in Cool Cat Land. After ask me that question next Tuesday, and I will have a lot more information for that. But yeah, I am a Cool Cat holder, and actually, several people in my family are Cool Cat holders. And so, yeah, so let's table that and let's talk about it next Tuesday, because I don't have an answer because I've been out playing.
That's fair. I don't have an answer either. I mean, what I sort of saw is that Klon is sort of distancing from the Web3 and moving more towards like creating a Web2 sort of cartoon. But that's about all the extent of it
Oh
I
well,
know. So that could be off. So maybe we table that and come back to it next week. Let's say hi.
yeah,
Let's say
yeah.
hi to Odd Writings. He's up here with us. Odd Writings, the poet laureate of palindrome poetry.
I always laugh every time you say that. It's a well, thank you for greeting me. It's always fun to be here and listen. I'm trying to stay awake because I had a lot of troubles. Last night I went to sleep fine. I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm not sure what time it was, and it just kind of lay there and 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 lay there. And then eventually the light started to come in through the window, and like, oh, I guess I'll get up, you know. So it's starting to hit me a little bit now. But yeah, I've been in speaking about literature and the NFT space and all that stuff. It's not directly related to literature, but it could be used. Everybody's, well, a lot of people have heard about Luma AI, I guess, which is run by Google, I think, or somebody large. Anyways, so they opened it up to the public. There's I think it just happened, but maybe it's already happened and I'm just out of it. But I found out about it anyways a couple of days ago, and there's a free tier, and you can make sort of 5-second videos, 30 of them for free for a month. And so you can't yet, if you do the free tier, you can't use them for commercial purposes. So it's not like you can make an NFT out of it and sell it, but it still allows me to put my foot in the door and play around with it, because I would like to eventually help. It helps with storytelling, particularly with poetry, to make a poem on an NFT and then have AI generate a little video out of it and see what it comes up with. So I've been playing with that.
Wait, so Luma AI is it's a free AI video maker? Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, there are paid tiers. I hope I got the name right. I should double check because I'm so out of it right now, and I make a lot of goofy mistakes. Anyways, it may be completely the wrong name, but yeah, assuming I got it right, yeah, it makes videos, and the videos are really, really smooth. Let me see if I can find an example for you.
Super cool. Riona, you've played around with AI video making a little bit, right?
Yeah, I actually utilize an AI video maker as part of the things that I do with Whitney Morgan Media, and it's called In Video. I'll see if I can find a link and share that. But yeah, it does an amazing job. The In Video, you can go in and paste in a script, and it will utilize the language of the script and create a video from it. And then you can go back in and edit the script. You can even edit what's in the video. Like, it is a full on, I mean, it's a paid service that Whitney Morgan Media, the publishing company, pays for. But it does a beautiful job. And 6 months ago, the language and the speaker, you could really tell it was AI. And now, with time passing and improvements in the technology, you can hardly tell that it's a person speaking. That it's not a person speaking, I guess, is a better way to say it. And so yeah, no, I'm really interested in this new thing that Odd Writings is telling us about.
Let's see if George comes back real quick.
Okay, yeah, it's Luma Dream Machine, and I made a little video that uses the 5 seconds of it together with just sort of normal video that I made. I'm trying to find a link for that so I can share that directly. It'll have to be in the comments because I don't have access to the Nest or whatever. But let me put the link to Luma Dream Machine here on the. You guys can probably search it on Google, I'm sure, but I'll find the link.
Cool. I will talk and fill some space while you do that. Dream Machine always makes me think of this is one of the coolest things. So I was always a big fan of the beat poets, William S. Burroughs and Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, all those guys. And I went to a lot of the places that those guys stayed in different parts of the world. And in France, I was fortunate to stay with this woman who had had a brief affair with William S. Burroughs. She's an old French lady back then, and I stayed at her house. She was so cool. She was like this bright red haired old lady, like growing weed in her basement. And she had been friends with William S. Burroughs and Brion Gysin, who is also another one of those like fundamental like poets. So it was like one degree of separation. But the coolest thing was she had a dream machine that Gysin and Burroughs had made, and it was in her extra bedroom. And so we like smoked some weed and we sat and like she put me in front of this dream machine thing, and I sat there just really tripping out on the Dream Machine. I think I made a video actually of it without saying that I was smoking weed, because back then it was, it's kind of illegal ish. Um, but anyway, yeah, there's my Dream Machine story. Pretty neat. Have you guys ever heard of the Dream Machine? Anybody up here aside from the AI one? Okay, I'm doing a terrible job of putting things in the nest today. I just do not have the bandwidth to multitask, so I'm not going to put a link to the Dream Machine up there. But you can Google it. You'll find Brion Geisen and Dream Machine and William S. Burroughs all connected. And I won't mention the awesome old lady, but because she might still be alive, growing weed in her basement in provincial France. But I don't want to disturb that action at all. Okay, speaking of weed, then let's move on. Riona, you just got back from the Oregon coast. What were you doing out there? Did you have any insights? Did anything amazing happen? What was your trip like? Tell us. We want to know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I realized that where I live currently is surrounded by wildfires and lots of smoke in the air, and that the Oregon coast doesn't have any of that currently. And so it was so wonderful. The weather was just a little cool, jacket weather, and the ocean was beautiful, and the waves and the surf, like I can watch surf like television. Like I just sit there and just look at it for hours and just watch the waves crash and literally do nothing. And so um then of course the fog rolls in, and it gets a little spooky, and my murderous brain, the suspense writer, comes to life and comes up with some fun ideas. And so yeah, I took my journal and I wrote down a few ideas, wrote down a few things. And so yeah, I'm excited. I love being a writer, and I just love creating new worlds and new people and new experiences. And so that's really what I did. I just took a little bit of time, and because there's so many things that I do in my everyday life that don't have anything to do with being a writer, because I spent a lot of time working with Page Dow, and I spent a lot of time working with Vagobond magazine, and which I love, I adore, but it's not me with a pen to paper situation. And so I really got to do that. And I just really I felt so energized about everything. And I just love my life. I love it. I love working with writers, and I love being able to help them have their dreams come true, getting their works published. And I love every single thing I do, every facet. And so I just I just feel so happy to be here, to be back, and getting back to work. So yeah. Yeah, yeah. Odd Writings, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I finally found the link. Actually, I put two links in the comments if you guys want to look at them and maybe put them up on the somebody could put them up on the nest. The very first one is, well, the second one that I put is a link to the Luma thing. But the first one will show you an example of something that I made. So if you click on that first one, you get taken to a blog page that I made. And if you scroll down, you'll see Instagram video, a link to that, and also a link to a Facebook reel or video or whatever. Click on that, and that video has what I created in Luma at the very end of the video. So it's self-serving because it's a thing I'm trying to I'm showing off basically one of my poems, but it's a good way of seeing an example of one of the animations without actually having to create a Luma account and go in there and try to generate one yourself.
It's so funny. Like one of the phrase that would never come up if someone said, just pick 100 words that describe Odd Writings, self-serving would probably never come up in my mind. but maybe it should. Maybe serving self-serving would make it into a palindrome, and then it might work. Anyway, that's super cool. I think I put them up in the nest, and maybe Riona put them up in the nest too. So double the pleasure, double the fun for you guys. Riona, I'm no stranger to the Oregon coast. My family and I lived there in the little town of Reedsport, where I had like an antique shop, and I published like a local newspaper for a few years. And I left just about the time that Trump got elected the first time. And because they just started putting up statues of him everywhere. People were really Trump crazy, and I'm not a Trump guy. It's fine if people love him, but it was a little much to see him 3 times on my drive to work every day. So I was just like, okay, we're out of here. This is too much. So I wonder if you saw much of that on the Oregon coast when you were there. Did you see the chainsaw carved Trump statues? Did you go through Reedsport? What was it like?
We did. We basically drove on Highway 101 all the way from um, Port Orford all the way north to Astoria, actually. Um, and we went through Reedsport, but we didn't see any Trump. I'm not a Trump guy either, and so, but yeah, we didn't see really any of that. Really any of that. Um, yeah, we didn't even have really good cell service either, and so there wasn't a lot of interaction with the outside world, which was great because coming back, there's so many things going on. um, and so, yeah, no, it was very peaceful, and there was not a lot of political anything up and down the coast. So I felt like that was nice. That was a nice change of pace.
That is a nice change of pace, and it has been a crazy political couple of days, huh? Like we've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. We've got the resignation, I guess, of Biden from the race, the elevation of Kamala Harris, all the rumors going around about like Biden might be dead and things like that. I feel like that's almost like has flavor of the Beatles, like Paul is dead kind of thing. Um, and then of course you got the regular, Trump assassination stuff and things like that.
I know, I know. I'm like, I'm gonna stop going on vacation because when I come back, it's like everything is crazy, and, and so I'm just like, what is going on? Like, so anyway, yes, so wild. I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but I just want to reiterate I'm so glad that we are here. I'm so glad that we are building what we are building. And I'm so glad all the time that we are creating the world we want to see. So,
Here, here. And I did send out
yeah.
invites. I sent out a bunch of invites to some of our page now friends and other folks, and hopefully we can get some of them up here. I'd love to hear from Indefatigable about what's been happening. You were gone, and I actually was gone as well. Like we went and did a little bit of coastal camping here in Hawaii, and I gotta say, coming back, like it was really nice. Like I was kind of connected, but not really connected. But it was so nice to just be completely disconnected, to watch the sunrise every morning. And coming back, I'm just finding it really hard to engage with digital stuff, like on the same level. Like, and I'm seeing that a little bit across. It seems like everybody's timeline. Like nobody wants to engage in this stuff at this point. Mike from Meta Builders is like, yes, yes, yes. Mike, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Life is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm feeling that 100%. Like I moved over to focusing more on plants and just like physically inserting myself into the environment around me and not so much wanting to be online. It's summertime. It's beautiful out. The more I touch these phones, the less I feel like a human.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it is a great time to be connecting with family, connecting with friends, the barbecues, the like getting outside, bike rides, stuff like that. I mean, I'm in Hawaii, so of course we do that sort of stuff year round, but summer is special. And also, I'm sort of like really engaged in it because I've got this huge adventure coming up in, like a week and a half where I bought a house in Japan and I'm gonna move to Japan and like try to get this house livable and live in Japan for a year. And it's gonna be a pretty exciting adventure because I don't really speak Japanese. Um, I just don't speak Japanese, but I'm gonna have to learn, and that's pretty fun. And I'm finding like using the apps and stuff that's not a real effective way to learn language because I just forget it. I'll like remember it for the app, and my short term memory is great. My long term memory seems to be broken. Um,
There's a lot of Japanese people in Hawaii, though. I mean, you'd be surprised. You might be able to pick up some of the culture before you even go.
Oh, geez, yeah, I have, Mike. I mean, in terms of the culture, like I'm pretty good. Like I've been here for a long time, and I think Japanese is actually now Filipinos are the largest majority, but Japanese are second, and Howleys like me. I think we're number three, which is it's a good place to be. I've invited Musashi up to the stage, and as always, it's a conversation. Come on up and tell us what you're working on, what you're doing, and hopefully, we'd love to hear from you.
I just want to jump in and say hello to Mike and hello to Musashi. And Smart Farms is with us here. So that's really, really exciting. And Ben is here. And so, yes, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
You guys are all
Hello.
probably you're all probably too young to remember Romper Room, but when I start doing that, Rihanna, I always feel like Romper Room, like hi to Ben, hi to Joe, hi to Mary, hi to Jimmy, and all the names. Romper Room was, my go-to when I was three. Musashi, we got you up here. I'm waiting for you now. I want to hear from you.
Oh, I didn't hear you calling on me. I was accepting the invite and it kind of cut me off for a minute. What'd you say?
Oh, I didn't actually call you out specifically on anything. I just love to hear from you, man. That's all.
Hey, good to be here. Good to hear from you. Thanks.
Yeah, hey, I want to shout out to you. Thanks for connecting me up with that IKEA DAO. I'm finding that to be a big resource and helpful. And IKEA, by the way, is like a cheap house in Japan, like I bought. And IKEA DAO is really neat in that they're doing it as a DAO, like buying a house and refurbishing it. So it's been a great resource for me. I'm utilizing that a lot. So Musashi, by the way, Crypto Jesus and I were talking about how many discords we all belong in. I think Musashi probably has the record. You got to be in every discord out there, right?
You don't want to know.
I mean, whenever I join a new Discord, I like look at friends in the server, and Musashi's almost always there.
Yeah, I'd have to speak on that as well. Like Musashi's connected me with so many different people that in this Web3 industry that I never would have, or it would have taken me a lot longer to find. And I'm in too many Discords where I have to leave them to join them. Like I stopped joining them. I only join ones that I absolutely need. But after 2021, all the hype is gone. I'm no longer gambling, so I don't have to join every single Discord that I know exists. I just pick and choose the right ones.
Yeah, in and out is the theme for Discord for me now. Uh, you know, I'm a part of communities that I'm not even in their Discord, but when I need to be, then I drop one and jump in there, and then thank goodness for things like Collabland, where if I have to rejoin a community that doesn't have something set up like that, I'm like, can I get my permissions back? Can I find someone who remembers me?
Oh, I didn't even realize Collabland did that. So you can actually leave a community and come back, and Collabland will remember your permissions and roles, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so long as the community set it up that way, yeah, you can just exit and enter as you wish, and you still hold all the roles. In fact, there's also a way to make that where your role becomes a credential, so it doesn't matter whether you got it through Discord or whatever. It's just always there. When you hook up through Collabland, you can walk into a Discord you've never been in and have roles.
That's amazing. Odd Writings, your hand went up first, and then Crypto Jesus after Odd Writings. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. PageDAO has a or an alpha version of their author application. Musashi, in particular, I wanted to know if you have been able to play with it, because I'd love to see the alpha version and play with it and see what all Web3 authors can do right now.
So I kind of do. I do a lot of like different beta testing and pen testing, and I kind of have an order I do things in. So I've only had a chance to use it once, and I was doing it with a UI and UX lens. So I was looking at the user interface and the user experience. So far, so good, but testing functionality is next. That's actually on my list this week, and we get to test normal functionality. Next week, I try to break things.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I know that PageDAO has been working on it for quite a while, and it's going to help a lot of poets and a lot of novelists and other writers of all sorts.
Crypto Jesus, I think that opens the door for you, man.
Sweet. I just want to say about Collabland, the way they mainly make money is by having probably the world's largest database of which wallet address is owned by which real person. And they love selling that data to a bunch of people. So, yes, they absolutely keep a record of every single person who's ever connected to Collabland, because why would they get rid of that data? It's a gold mine for them. But I gotta leave. Thank you all for having me. Vagobond, it's been good to hear from you. Riona, a pleasure. George, great to meet you. Meta Builder, Musashi, good to meet you both. I'll give you all a follow. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks, brother. Really nice to have you here, and great to hear what's happening with your project. And yeah, for everybody out there, follow everybody in this space, because we're a small space typically, but we're a space of people that are worth following. And sometimes we get some amazing folks that come up here, like Lisa Gibbons, who will come up and share limericks, or we get Jose comes up and shares music. Odd Writings has shared his poetry. Meta Builders has shared his thoughts on life. Meta Builders, are you a creative? Do you write? Actually, I don't know that about you.
Yes, sir. In fact, I've probably written like 10 books. I've written about 100 articles about Web3 since 2019. I've done some things with PageDAO as well over the years, I think 2021, 2022. In fact, Meta Builders helped PageDAO develop their first bounty board and all that stuff. That's on our YouTube channel. And I'm actually publishing some books through the Smart Farms, who's also listening. Smart Farms is publishing through Whitney Morgan Media, the children's books about indoor vertical tower farming. So yes, sir, I do be writing.
You know, I had a feeling, and I've probably heard some of your writing. Anything you want to share with us? Like, read something or just share some titles?
More or less. I mean, they're they're children's books. So the first 5 books that I wrote was through SDP Owls, the NFT project that I launched in 2019, and then they were just basically activity books. There wasn't too much context to it. But then these other books through Smart Farms are essentially, the brand is Bucket Buddies. Smart Farms owns Bucket Buddies, and each character represents a different vegetable, and that character teaches how to grow the vegetable indoors and outdoors, the benefits of growing in vertical tower farms versus traditional farming, and then the origin, whatnot, in a fun little, childish way, so that they can, enjoy it and whatnot, and as well as get the education, learn how to farm. And then we have grow kits as well. So like Tommy Tomato, you can have tomato seeds and, whatever. And it kind of goes with the book. So you'll write a book about where tomatoes originated, how many different varieties of tomatoes there are, stuff like that. And yeah, the idea is to publish them with Riona and then get them into schools, and then get people growing their own food, because, we don't want no rubber watermelons.
So if I could butt in real quick, so does Tommy Tomato, does he tell the inquisitive children about how at one point people thought tomatoes were, poisonous? I mean, not to scare the children, but I thought that might be kind of interesting.
Yeah, actually, if you go to our YouTube channel, Smart Farms is right underneath you on the watching. But if you go to the YouTube channel at smartfarms.global, you'll see there's this little 8-second videos that give little factoids, and each character has a different fact every day. Like you'll see Lavender Lily tells you all about lavender, and Minty Max has facts about mint, so on and so forth. I actually wrote a book about coffee as well, and there's a character called Coffee, and we have actual coffee, so it's coffee on the via print on demand, so you can just order it whenever from the website. But it's pretty extensive. It's kind of like a Veggie Tales minus the religion, and with more information based educational material rather than just like entertaining people and trying to indoctrinate.
What? You're not trying to indoctrinate people?
I mean, I am, but only for their good. Yeah, right. This is America. No, I'm just into creating local solutions on a global scale. Like, I guess a local globalist, where I believe that there are local solutions for all problems. And if you just look at the resources in your local area, you can use the same structure to educate people and to onboard people into these localized solutions, and kind of obfuscate the necessity for global distribution systems. And maybe, at first, like, you'll have to ship some seeds from one country to another. But once you establish yourself there, then it's all about just maintaining these local solutions and then scaling that in like a type of franchise way globally.
It's really cool work, man. I absolutely, totally support everything that you've just been saying and the work that you're doing. And also, I love coffee. So coffee is definitely going to be like my favorite children's literary character once I read that book. Um, you know, this is a fun one. I used to be a tour guide here in Hawaii, and I would take people on tours and I would ask them, do you know where coffee comes from? And it was amazing the wide range of guesses that people made and how rare it was for someone to actually get it right where coffee came from. So, Mike, I'm sure that you know this, but does anybody else know where coffee actually originated?
I've heard two things. Actually, I've read two things. One is Ethiopia, and the other is a place, I guess either Yemen or Saudi Arabia, called coffee or cafe or something along those lines. I'm not sure if either one of those is correct, but I've read both versions.
Ethiopia it is.
Yep. The story I would tell people was that, you know, Ethiopian goat herders watched their goats like eating these berries or cherries off of a bush, and they watched the goats get agitated, and some genius goat herder was like, "Huh, that looks pretty fun," and they made the first like coffee brew, which was like a tea. And then from there, it spread to the Bedouins, and the Bedouins like spread it all through Yemen and Saudi Arabia. It made its way all the way up to Turkey, and then during the Crusades, it actually like emerged from Turk. Like the Turks really did some amazing things in terms of brewing coffee, and the Turks then took it to, well, it was taken from Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, into Europe via Italy. And so the Italians, of course, Italian roast and all that. And then from there, the Spanish got it, and the Spanish were colonizing the Americas. And that's when they brought the coffee beans over to the Americas, and they started growing in places like Ecuador and, Juan Valdez, the Folgers coffee mascot from years ago. And so that's where a lot of Americans would guess that coffee came from, was South America or Ecuador, Central America, stuff like that. But then it gets even more fascinating. I've had some coffee this morning, you can tell. It gets more fascinating because, then you have this little thing that happened where the British and the Americans were big tea drinkers and the Spanish were coffee drinkers. But the British wanted to tax the American tea, and the Americans were like, no way. So they had this little thing called the Boston Tea Party, and they threw all the tea into the ocean, and tea didn't grow well in the Americas. So they started drinking the local brew, which was coffee. So coffee, in a certain sense, fueled the American Revolution. And all of those ideas, the great ideas that came out of the American Revolution, the Declaration of Independence, all that stuff was really fueled by coffee. And even in England, it was the coffee houses where like capitalism was sort of born. And like the coffee houses in I guess Amsterdam and also in London, back and forth, like these early traders, they were frenetic on coffee. And then it goes on from there, like the entire history of the world. The Renaissance, when you look at that, the Renaissance was fueled by coffee. And as I said, I'm very fueled by coffee. So I'm going to let someone else talk because I get really excited about this stuff.
I just want to piggyback on that real quick because I mean that almost sounded like a history of the world type episode where you could take that clip and just make that a short clip of like the origins of coffee. You pretty much nailed the entire book that I wrote. But I just wanted to mention that I put the cover of the book, The Coffee's Journey. And it's funny because I've got a little goat on there. I've got the Ethiopian flag on the bottom and all that stuff to kind of represent that as well. And it showcases the coffee cup and the actual coffee brand that we have on smartfarms.global if anybody wanted to check that out.
And I did stick Smart Farms up in the nest. If anybody's looking to look, that's an easy way to do it. Or, of course, you can go to Smart Farms or to MetaBuilders and check that stuff out too. I am interested in trying your coffee. I'm not going to be here long enough to order some, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be trying it at some point, Mike. How is your coffee?
Well, right now it's basically through Printify, so it's just print on demand coffee. But the long game is that we're growing this food indoors in vertical tower farms and things like that. And then we're going to be manufacturing our own products. So each character, for the most part, I mean, the characters that make sense, the consumable items that people will actually buy, will be manufactured at Smart Farms. So like Tommy Tomato, we're going to be distributing tomatoes and tomato sauce, or the Pepper Pete, we're going to distribute peppers and hot sauce, and it's all going to be branded to all the little characters. So you'll get if you're local to Colton, South Dakota, where Smart Farms is, you'll get a vegetable food box, like subscription box, and in that you'll have Tommy Tomato, tomato sauce, Pepper Pete, hot sauce, coffee, and Minty Max mint tea, all branded to the characters, which then opens up the door to potential, like toys and merch, which we already have on the website, puzzles and stuff like that, so that people can, like the kids can get a handle on the fact that, look, this is easy. You can grow your own food. Not only can you grow your own food, but when you're eating spaghetti, that tomato sauce was made by tomatoes, and it's really easy and simple process to grow and manufacture your own edible foods. And so, it's like, hopefully people will get our subscription for our food boxes and then be integrated into our grow systems, and we can sell the grow kits, the books, and educate people into being self-sustainable and having their own grow towers, so they no longer need to, rely on us as a distributor for their food, and kind of scale it that way, because we're all about self-sovereignty with MetaBuilders being, teaching people how to be their own bank, building Web3 applications and stuff like that. And now to Smart Farms, teaching people how to grow their own food, own their own food, own your own everything, because we can't rely on the government anymore, and we shouldn't rely on the government to take care of us. And if you look at mass distribution, they're only trying to cut corners. They're not trying to educate anybody or empower anybody. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
I love everything you're saying there. So you're using CSAs basically, and like community supported agriculture is what CSA is, by the way. CSAs to like take transmedia storytelling to an entirely different level. You're hitting on so many things that I absolutely love there. Like One is self-sovereignty, the community-supported agriculture, local agriculture, eating locally, storytelling, giving kids like options and ideas. Like, I love what you're doing, Mike. You're really like, transmedia storytelling crosses the boundary of the media, and you're actually using the food as the media itself. It's so cool. It's like, it's, as far as a Web3 writer goes, I don't know if we're going to keep this term Web3 writers forever, but you're like an amazing transmedia storyteller with all this stuff. And I absolutely love it. And I just want to shout out as much as I can, like, how cool it is that you're doing that and how innovative it is. Like, people think farming, and a lot of times they don't think, like, huge innovation or permaculture and huge innovation, but there's huge innovation in that. And bringing storytelling to it is just next level stuff, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And that's where PageDAO comes in, and Whitney Morgan Media, and all this stuff, and it's really exciting. I appreciate you, acknowledging that, because it's real difficult to be not solely focused on profit, but still have to make profit to be able to scale these systems and everything. And MetaBuilders was great foundation for what I needed to learn to be able to execute on this second version of what I'm doing. But it all goes hand in hand, where basically recycling the same dollar, where MetaBuilders is creating all of the content and the books and all that stuff, so I can use the revenue that's generated from Smart Farms to pay MetaBuilders, and then I can use MetaBuilders as a sponsor for Smart Farms. So every dollar I make turns into $2-3. It's going back and forth between the businesses and creating equity in multiple businesses, which creates a larger amount of capital access, which makes it possible to scale these endeavors on much less effort.
Yeah, I just want to jump in really quick as the publisher and really celebrate everything that Smart Farms is doing, and really celebrate Mike and his innovative ideas. And it's so exciting to talk with him and hear all the plans he has, and how we can utilize traditional publishing as well as Web3 publishing to really get his story and his vision out there to make a difference for people who are in situations where they need, like, he is answering a need. And it's so exciting and so beautiful, and I'm so proud to be able to be part of the journey with this. And I'm so excited for how PageDAO is going to be able to support this, and how Whitney Morgan Media, as a traditional publisher, is going to be able to support this. And it's phenomenal, phenomenal. And so I'm so excited that we're talking about this now.
Appreciate the support, and I'm excited to have you on the team in any facet, and every facet. Like this whole relationship with PageDAO has been many years in the making, and to have PageDAO be the catalyst to connect some of these relationships only further solidifies the fact that PageDAO is a necessary entity in furthering self-sovereignty in many different industries, not just Web3 publishing, but as a networking tool to expand, the possibilities for authors. And writing books is essentially just spreading a narrative, and not every narrative has to do with writing. It has to do with spreading a message about something that's important to the author. And for me, that's many different things, but one of them is owning our own food, knowing where your food comes from, and being empowered to be able to grow your own food, and understanding really how easy some of these things are. The hardest part is realizing how easy it is. That's like the biggest hurdle. I've had plenty of coffee too, if you couldn't notice.
Coffee drinkers unite. I think it's a great thing to have plenty of coffee and to have that energy. And you know what? I sort of think we might have the level of energy there anyway, just because of the excitement about what we're talking about. And I want to jump in here and say too, Vagabond Media is really happy to host and to have Vagabond Magazine, and to share these ideas and to bring these ideas to you guys through the Web3 writers each week. And we love being a part of this whole process and giving people the chance to connect and to make connections and to connect the dots that exist in this world. I mean, that's sort of where I see our role as Vagabond Media and Vagabond Magazine is. what we function as is we are like the place where people can network and connect those dots and get those ideas forming. We're not the ones who build the platform like Meta Builders or PageDAO, but what we do is we try to connect those platforms and those players with each other so that cooler things can be built down the road. And that's really our function as a magazine, as a media company. And it's just so cool to be a part of it and to see all of this stuff happening, you know, in real time right in front of us, even as the world falls apart and energy in Web3 seems to be dissipating a little bit. It's We're still seeing stuff get built. We're still seeing stuff change the world in the future, right?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. I could not have said any of that better myself. So exactly true.
So, you guys, this is we've got about 8 minutes left, and I just want to open it up. If you've seen anything interesting this week, if you've been participating in anything interesting, I want you guys to have the chance to talk about that. As I said, Cryptoversal and myself have been pretty deeply immersed in Lamina One, where they're getting ready to do an airdrop. Lamina One is basically building an open metaverse, and they want to be the sort of connector of metaverses. And they're building this whole thing. I had the chance earlier this week to sit down. As sort of a beta user for a new feature that they're building called Spaces. I was really excited about it because I thought maybe it was going to replace X Spaces, but unfortunately it wasn't that kind of space. But for storytelling and for connecting and building games and lore and all that stuff, what they're building over there is really cool. And it was neat to be recognized as a builder, as a creator, and to have that honor of sitting down and beta testing it in a private session. It was really, really kind of a neat thing to be able to take part in. I'm excited about what's coming with Lamina One. It's a little bit behind schedule, but that's what, in terms of Web3 and this kind of stuff, that I've been focusing my energy on more than probably anything else lately. But what about you guys? What are you looking at? What are you excited about? What are you seeing? What's happening?
Well, I can jump in here first. I've been a writer a long time, and I am friends with a lot of traditional writers that utilize Twitter for a lot of querying, a lot of mini elevator pitch things, mini pitches, mini all of these ways that they can connect with agents and publishers through Twitter. And I just really feel like there's such a struggle with traditional writers trying to find a way to get their writing published. And there's so many hoops that they're jumping through, and there's so many um, disheartened people. It's so hard to join those groups and to hear the sadness and the I'm not doing this anymore. I've received now 500 rejections, and this is just I've done everything I can, and I'm just gonna set it down and move on and do something else with my life. And I just want to just tell everybody, listen, there's a different way. There's a different way. There's a different way. And so I'm always so please know that there are other ways, and that Vagabond magazine, Vagabond Media, PageDAO, Whitney Morgan Media, all of this is such a different way to approach and get your work from where it is now to get it published and in front of readers. And I don't know how to say it loud enough, and so I'm just I'm gonna keep saying it, and maybe two or three people here, and those two or three people will tell their friends, and then they're same on and on. And so that's where I am sitting today with what can we do to share this other way with more people. And because it's needed so much. And so that's where I am today.
Well, like I said before, I've been playing with the Luma thing to make videos, um, and also I've been making a lot of NFTs and sticking them on Lamina One. I don't have access to their Discord server, so I don't I love to hear about stuff that they're doing because I'm out of the loop on that in that sense. But it sounds really good that they're going to be that they're still doing stuff, because when I go to the Lamina One hub, it's the same as it was yesterday, as it was the day before. So it's just good to know that stuff's happening in the background.
George, this is kind of one of the coolest things that happened. Again, transmedia storytelling. There's all these like little projects, and we're sort of tying them all together that are being born on Lamina One. You know, there's the Laminals, the Lamsters, the Cyber Lambs, Laminhouses, which is like houses. And the guy that put together Laminhouses is so a few of us got them, and he like put out this call. He was like, "Hey, I know people don't want to dox themselves, but if you're willing to give me your mailing address, give me your mailing address." And he's sending out. He put together like a real estate book of the Lamb houses, like a real book, and is sending that out to everybody that was willing to dox themselves. So from France, he's sending it. I'm not sure that I'm going to be here when it arrives, but it's just really cool that he put it together and like made the process of like transmedia again. So it's like we have this house listing, for a metaverse that's not quite built yet. Really a neat thing. So, meta builders, are you seeing anything exciting out there? Musashi, Jose, feel free to jump in there. Just a few minutes left, but would love to hear what you guys are seeing and what you guys are excited about in the time that we have left.
I think I've added enough. Let's Jose got his hand up. Go ahead.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I feel really bad. I started really bad day today. First with an nagging stuff in my health. I don't want to share too much about that because it's maybe too personal. I'm usually really vulnerable. Like I can go naked on the street. I can say this, but I don't know how correct is to say all of this. So I'm not going to, because I got told not to say that too much. But yeah, hemorrhoids are the worst. Anyway, and besides that, I'm participating in a music contest this week, and so bad I was resting. I was, I feel so bad that I missed the voting process. You could all supported me to win, but I didn't do that, and I think I lost my chance. But I did a really good video for this week. I would love to share it with y'all. It's a No Winter's Land version. Also, meta builders. I'm going to give you something soon. I'm working on stuff. You got a golden edition. You're going to receive some cool stuff soon with the music. I have been doing lots of cool music these days, getting my friends into Web3. And with the Amazon community, we funded $400 for them. Hopefully today I will go to see some shoes and tools to buy for the Watuha community in the Amazon rainforest. I'm going to check if the prices here in Caracas are cheaper, so I can buy and go to the Amazon in August and help them in the construction of the Watuha University of Ancestral Knowledge. Basically, 4 structures they want to do to receive us all in the community, and I'm really looking forward to that process. I think music for social impact is so important, and it's just so new. And I think it can do a lot of impact for these communities that they don't have they don't have light power, internet. All of this is just so new, and the Amazon is one of the places that sustain us through illegal mining and through legal mining. So it's good to keep that in mind when we use technology and we want for these social relationships to be long-term visions for our granddaughters and sons. So I really want to highlight the Watuha community. The shaman, it's an expert in snake poison wounds, and he heals that with chant. He heals snake wounds with music, with chant, and that is amazing. That is. I don't have all my English words to share this, but I'm working for all of you guys to be easy for you to come to the Amazon. The community wants to share their medicines and their knowledge with people. Right now, there's a lot of refi energy. These people has a lot to say on that like sector, and I think they also have a lot to share and integrate into DAOs, because basically be part of an indigenous ancestral community is a need to be on coordination. And I think that we as a global community can learn a lot from communities that were hiding for around 200 years because the church wanted them killed because of their knowledge, and now they have an opportunity to share their mission, vision, and values with us.
Wow. Jose, thank you so much for coming today. I'm so sorry to hear about your pain and that's a bummer, and I hope it recovers soon, or you recover soon. That's about all the time that we have, you guys. If you're up here on the stage, let's open up your mic, and we will close out with our typical aloha, just sending love, light, and laughter, and good breath into the world. So if you're on the stage, open your mic at the count of 3 and give us an aloha. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Web3 Writers is brought to you by Vagobond Magazine and published on Apple Podcasts through the Substack app. You can find all the episodes on Apple Podcasts or at Vagobond, VAGOBOND.substack.com. Our theme music is composed by the amazingly talented Paolo Argento and brought to us courtesy of Pixabay. You can find the link in the show notes.